On the morning of May 3rd, 2013, Huang Choi, KC Joy, made a distressing call to 911 at approximately 10:42 a.m.
Which police dispatch you, Rose?
I have a roommate, she's 36 years old, and she didn't come home last night.
Okay, did you want to make a missing person report? Is that what you're wanting to do?
Yeah, I left the cell phone message. She didn't call me back. No more she got to school today. No more she would have show up today.
Do you know if she was at school?
No, her car is there. I think she ran out last night. She didn't come home.
Maribel Ramos enlisted in the US Army, dedicating 8 years of service, which included 2 deployments in Iraq and Afghanistan. She was honorably discharged in 2008. Upon her return to California, she focused on completing her education in criminal justice at Cal State University. She was known for her close-knit family ties and her unwavering determination. KC reported that Maribel had not returned home and that her car remained at her apartment complex. He last saw her around 9 p.m. the previous evening. KC expressed his concern and sought to file a missing persons report. Subsequently, KC contacted Lucy, informing her of Maribel's disappearance. Initially, Lucy was not overly concerned given Maribel's active lifestyle. However, her concern grew when Maribel failed to attend her scheduled baseball game that evening. Lucy, accompanied by some of Maribel's cousins, visited her apartment. They observed that Maribel's car was still present and the light in her room was on. Growing increasingly anxious, they contacted the police. Officers arrived at the scene and gained entry into the apartment. Inside, Lucy noticed Maribel's bed was unmade, and the pillowcase was missing. KC, who had returned to the apartment, recounted his earlier statements, emphasizing an argument about rent that had led him to leave the apartment to cool off. Surveillance footage from the complex revealed no movement of their cars. However, a camera captured Maribel depositing rent checks at the manager's office on May 2nd, around 8:18 p.m. Maribel appeared calm and composed in the footage. In an effort to find Maribel, Lucy turned to social media, posting her sister's photo and requesting information from the public. The police reviewed Maribel's phone records, revealing her last conversation was with Paul Lopez, a man she had been casually dating. Being the last person to have contacted Maribel, he was asked to come to the police department for questioning.
Hey Paul, what's your last name?
Lopez.
How long have you been dating her?
It's been like maybe a few months. Nothing's been like exclusive. It's just been, dating.
Did she tell you to come over or anything like that, or did you offer to go over there?
No, I was working till midnight.
Where do you work?
The gas company. I was working for the midnight shift.
But you didn't see her on Thursday at all?
I wasn't working.
It's just as important for us to talk to you and free your name from any suspicion. And the way we do that is talking to you. And of course, looking at the phone records, you are the last person who talked to her. And then she disappears. So that's kind of huge, really.
Paul seems too calm for a case that involves the disappearance of someone he had been dating. However, his strong alibi not only underlines that he is most likely innocent, but he also soon delivers essential information to the detectives that puts another person into the spotlight.
His roommate, did she talk any further about him?
She's always talked about him.
In a frustrated way?
Mm-hmm. She's always complained about him that he never has his rent on time. Pretty much she was letting me know his whole life was just going. She was there in the living room. I heard him, I can hear him in the background, and she was pretty much telling me she wants him out, that she told him that he's gotta be out tomorrow. I kind of get a little tough saying all right, well, just make sure that he knows that if he's not out by tomorrow, that if his stuff isn't out, then I'm gonna get it and throw it out.
I gotcha.
With him ruled out as a suspect, the focus shifted to KC, Maribel's roommate. Initially, KC and Maribel shared a close relationship, even going on an Alaskan cruise together. Believing that all of this was only a step to eventually marry Maribel, their relationship deteriorated after KC realized that Maribel did not reciprocate romantic feelings for him. Another source of tension between them was KC's inability to pay rent on time. Maribel had asked KC to move out, a request that strained their ambivalent and toxic relationship further. 2 weeks prior to her disappearance, Maribel had placed a 911 call. In what seemed like an escalation of tension, she expressed fear of KC, mentioning a non-existent gun for self-defense.
Hi, Orange Police.
Okay, well, I just want to let you know that I have a roommate that should be leaving at the end of the month. We had a conversation today that he kind of freaked me out. I'm not feeling comfortable around him anymore. I'm feeling threatened. At the end of the month, I want him to leave. And from now until then, I just feel like I have to lock my door, which I will. Because he sounded like he would hurt me. Like, it was weird.
Why are you crying?
Because I'm afraid. I'm not comfortable with him anymore. I'm just like calling so that you guys know that if something happens, that I did it because I was trying to defend myself.
Police officers visited Maribel's apartment on April 21st, following the 911 call. Thus, they were already familiar with KC. Although there were no clear links between him and Maribel's disappearance, he voluntarily went to the PD for an interview.
So this is KC? You like KC is CJ, everybody calls me KC. My first name is Kwang. You ask somebody Kwang, nobody will know. Nobody will know who that is. Alright, so. Okay, well thank you for coming here. Yeah, we really appreciate it. As you know, right now, there's some people, some family and friends that are worried about Maribel, your roommate.
I'm also a friend, and I care about her very much. I've been here about a year and a half with her. We had a great time together. We had a cruise together. I got to clubs, with dancing, with party, big time.
KC appears to genuinely care about Maribel. He speaks fondly about her, explaining how they are good friends, who regularly party and even went on vacation together. However, this is in stark contrast to their equally regular arguments that came to light.
Now, weren't the police out to your house recently because you guys had an argument?
Yeah, it was the Friday night. Okay, I'm gonna karaoke. So we had a great time together. When she drinks, either she's gonna be super friendly or super aggressive. And she started yelling at me, I don't like you, I'm not attracted to you. She starts screaming at you. I said, Maribel, we had a great time tonight. What's the problem? She starts saying, I have a gun, my bullet is faster than you. I said, whoa. Maribel, she went out with the police officer came in after the police officer. I said, did she say she got a weapon, gun? He said, yeah. The police officer said, just when you go to bed tonight, you knock the door, keep the phone next to you, something happens, you call us.
When was the last time you guys had any sort of an argument?
Actually, the Thursday.
This Thursday? Yesterday?
Well, Thursday about the rent.
Well, how bad did the argument get?
Nothing bad. And we talked. She talked to Paul and put Paul on a speakerphone. He said, Paul is my man, he's my boyfriend. I've been dating him since January or so he wants to move out.
So the last time you saw her was somewhere around between 9 and 10?
Well, around 9 o'clock.
And that's when you went for a drive?
Yeah. When I came back in, she was not here. So that's either Paul picked it up, some guy picked it up, somebody picked it up because I saw her car wasn't there.
It is at this moment that KC attempts to shift the blame on Paul Lopez, the man who was dating Maribel. When police officers first investigated the apartment, Maribel seemingly left in a hurry with her bed being unmade and personal belongings missing. What KC doesn't know, though, is that Paul was previously already cleared as a suspect, leaving him as the main suspect in this investigation.
How'd you get all these scratches on you?
We go to Eisenhower Park all the time. If you go there are bushes, those are sharp-lived bushes.
In a missing persons case, this instantly raised red flags. The scratches observed by detectives were fresh and unusually deep. Interestingly, KC perfectly explained that his scratches were all from taking fishing lines out of bushes in Eisenhower Park. Unfazed by his defense, KC offered to show detectives what he exactly meant by going to the place where the scratches allegedly stemmed.
Oh, they're all up there right now. Can you shoot to the ducks with a fishing line there?
Right.
Grab it on.
Right there. What were you doing when you got the scratches?
I was in a flip-flop.
And you fell down onto your knees and into the plant.
Yeah, somewhere
And then you just got back up.
Unexpectedly, detectives were in disbelief as Casey's explanation held reasonable truth. There was no way of refuting what he was stating, and otherwise, there was also no evidence connecting him to the disappearance of Maribel. Even though he communicated vaguely during the interrogation, Casey was an open book. Fingerprints, DNA tests, searches through his rental car. Casey Joy volunteered everything, and shockingly, he turned out to be 100% clear. Several weeks after the disappearance of Maribel, detectives are searching through the apartment when they find a revealing piece of evidence. Maribel's blood-stained pajama top. Not only did it match with the pajama bottoms that she wore on the CCTV footage 2 days before going missing, this was supposed to be the bombshell evidence to finally link the perpetrator to Maribel's disappearance. However, when forensics results came back, the blood matched with Maribel only.
This is Maribel Ramos' apartment where she was last seen 8 days ago. Her family says she left behind her much-loved dog, she left behind her vehicle, and there's been no recent activity on her cell phone or credit card.
Missing Cal State Fullerton student is now speaking out about...
The media coverage of Maribel's case intensified, with KC participating in interviews where he expressed his love for Maribel and his cooperation with the investigation.
She's my best friend. Actually, she's my only friend, only family member I have.
And by the interview, they want a DNA sample. They took a picture of my body. They will search the house without a search warrant. I'll give them a permission to do it. Go ahead, go forward.
To the outside observer, KC comes across as an honest man who simply cares about wrapping the investigation up to find Maribel alive and well. It appears that he went out of his way to selflessly help the detectives out with their investigation, just like the good friend he portrays himself to be. In reality, however, things are darker than they seem. The thick accent that Casey Joy was talking in throughout the interrogation was completely fabricated. Friends were shocked when they were asked if this is how Casey always speaks. Combined with his vague responses, his accent is meant to make things more difficult for the detectives. On top of that, the relationship between Casey Joy and Maribel Ramos was much more complex. Their arguments and Maribel's 911 call that were addressed in the interrogation are not enough to get the full picture. While family and friends of Maribel knew that Casey was interested in seeking an intimate relationship with her, nobody had realized how obsessed he truly was with her. One day, when Maribel jokingly said that a tattoo would look good on him, he came back home with a giant tiger tattoo on his arm. He started dressing differently, and when it was suggested that he should date someone his age, he got plastic surgery, paying more than $10,000 to somehow appeal to Maribel. It is May 16th. A surveillance team has been watching over every step that Casey makes as he enters a library. He borrows one of the public laptops, not knowing that unlike the last days, this time the librarian is working directly with the detectives, recording all of his internet traffic.
It looks like he's typing in the missing persons there. He's reading the comments on the article. Looks like he's writing it too.
His internet search history quickly turns dark when he goes from job applications to searches that allude to his possible involvement in the murder of Maribel Ramos. During his stay at the library, he also checked for the GPS location of a specific tree in a remote place on Peters Canyon Trail. Officers rushed to the scene, and at the same time, detectives asked KC to again come to the PD for further questions, which he didn't refuse.
Well, thanks for coming down here voluntarily. I really appreciate it.
Oh, you're going to get me right back to the library, then I'll have to walk. So that's what I said. All these news people and about reports are focusing on me. I'm the only one on the news. So do they know something I don't know? They're always focusing on me. Coming to my house this morning. Today has been exactly 2 weeks, 14 days ago. I don't know where they got some more information from police department, something I don't know. But you got some questions to ask, that's why they brought me here. Where do you think we should search? I don't know. So are you implying Maribel is not going to come home?
Wouldn't you know that?
No, that's how I'm asking you. Obviously, you know more than I do. There's some information come back, like you are implying she's not coming home or something.
Casey, I think that you have the answers in your heart, that you do, and that you should share them.
And unless you got talk to you.
Just sit down for a little bit.
Okay.
Listen, he's your advocate.
Yeah.
He's telling you.
First of all, if you want to go, you can go.
Okay, I'd like to go.
Once KC walked out of the door, he was taken into custody. At the same time, police officers who acted on the GPS location that KC was searching for previously discovered Maribel's body beneath some rocks near a large tree in the canyon. The advanced decomposition prevented a definitive determination of the cause of death, though it was suspected that she had been suffocated with a pillow.
We're just in front of the home where Maribel's family have been all night long, and her younger sister told me how the family is now dealing with this very difficult time.
We lean on God to give us the peace that only He can give us. I'm going to miss her a lot.
Lucy Gonzalez says she's been suffering since the day her older sister, Maribel, disappeared.
I can't even explain to you the pain and the anger, but you know, God got me through it.
During the trial in January 2014, the prosecution argued that KC, feeling rejected and frustrated by Maribel's refusal to reciprocate his romantic feelings, killed her following an argument about rent and his impending move. It was theorized that KC suffocated Maribel in her sleep and later disposed of her body in Peters Canyon. The prosecution contended that KC's actions following the crime, including his searches and behavior, pointed directly to his guilt. KC Joy was convicted of second-degree murder and sentenced to 15 years to life in prison. Despite the conviction, KC continues to maintain his innocence.